Hello and welcome. Today we are dissecting one of the most complex landscapes known to human interaction, the female mind and the psychology of obsession. There is a profound difference between someone simply liking you and someone whose mind is completely occupied by your existence. You know the feeling, when you are uncertain, when the silence between texts feels heavy, and you wonder if you are just a passing thought or a permanent resident in her psyche. Uncertainty is a breeder of anxiety, but psychology suggests that thoughts are not invisible. When a woman is thinking about you nonstop, it creates a kinetic energy that manifests in behavior, often in ways she is trying to hide. We are going to decode those signals today. If you want to master the psychology of attraction and understand the reality beneath the surface, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Let us begin the analysis. To understand if she is thinking about you, we must first look at the concept of mental real estate. When a woman is indifferent, her interactions are transactional. She responds to logic and necessity. When she is thinking about you nonstop, you have triggered the reticular activating system, RAS, in her brain. This means everything reminds her of you. The first major sign is what we call the association link. She will not just message you. She will message you because something mundane triggered a memory of you. She sends a picture of a coffee shop, a song link, or a meme that relates to a conversation you had 3 weeks ago. This is not casual conversation. This is her brain actively searching for bridges to connect her current reality to you. If she is reaching out with, "This made me think of you," it is because she was already thinking of you and she found an excuse to verbalize it. A woman who is thinking about you nonstop develops an insatiable hunger for data. This manifests as information mining. In casual dating, questions are surface level. What do you do? Or where do you live? However, when she is psychologically fixated, her questions pivot to your psychology and your past. She will ask about your childhood, your relationship with your parents, or your biggest fears. This is not small talk. This is a risk assessment. She is thinking about you so much that she is running simulations in her head about a potential future. She needs this data to fill in the gaps of her daydreams. If you notice the conversation shifting from, "How was your day?" to, "What is your philosophy on life?" She is trying to understand the architecture of your mind because she is spending so much time analyzing it. In the modern age, we cannot ignore digital body language. If she is thinking about you nonstop, she is consuming your digital presence. This goes beyond a simple like. You need to look for the orbiter effect. She is the first to view your stories, often within minutes. Psychologically, this indicates that you are a priority on her algorithmic feed, or more likely, she is manually checking your profile. Furthermore, look for the absence of public interaction coupled with high private interaction. If she avoids liking your photos publicly but watches everything you do and messages you privately, she is trying to protect the connection. She is territorial. She doesn't want to signal to the world and other competitors that she is obsessed, but she cannot help but consume the content you provide. When we think about someone constantly, our subconscious mind begins to emulate them to create a sense of tribe and safety. This is known as the chameleon effect. If she is thinking about you nonstop, you will notice her vocabulary shifting. She will start using slang, phrases, or emojis that you use. This is not a conscious decision because she is replaying your conversations in her head when you are not there. Your voice becomes integrated into her internal monologue. When she speaks or types, your influence leaks out. If she starts saying a specific word that only you say, it is definitive proof that your voice is echoing in her mind even when you are physically absent. Human beings are creatures of habit. We protect our routines. One of the strongest indicators of high-level romantic fixation is the willingness to disrupt established patterns. If she is thinking about you, the dopamine hit of seeing you or speaking to you becomes more valuable than her sleep or her schedule. Watch for the time zone shift. Does she stay up unusually late to keep the conversation going? Does she reply during hours she is usually busy or working? This is prioritization via sacrifice. She is sacrificing her comfort and her routine to keep the connection alive. A woman who is not thinking about you will prioritize her sleep. A woman who is obsessed will prioritize the interaction, fueled by the adrenaline and dopamine your attention provides. Moving into physical proximity, we must analyze the biological imperative known as preening. When a woman is constantly thinking about you, her brain is primed for mating and attraction. When she is in your presence or even on a video call, she will engage in subconscious grooming behaviors. This is not vanity, it is instinct. Watch for the check and adjust. She will smooth her hair, adjust her jewelry, or check her reflection constantly. More specifically, look for the exposure of vulnerable areas, the neck and the wrists. If she tilts her head, exposing her neck while looking at you, this is a primal sign of submission and trust. It indicates that in her mind you are a dominant figure she feels safe with. She is trying to present the best possible version of herself because in her private thoughts, she has already elevated you to a high-status position. Psychologically, the Zeigarnik effect states that people remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. A woman who is thinking about you will utilize this by keeping the loop open. She will rarely let a conversation die completely. If you say goodbye, she might send a totally unrelated message 5 minutes later, or she will send a message simply to share a thought without a clear conclusion. She is terrified of the finality of silence. If she is always initiating a new topic just as the old one creates a natural pause, she is manufacturing reasons to stay in your orbit. She is thinking about you, and the anxiety of not talking to you is greater than the fear of appearing clingy. When a woman is obsessed, she wants to create a bond where you feel necessary to her survival or happiness. This often manifests as manufactured vulnerability. She will present you with problems that she is fully capable of solving herself, but she brings them to you. She asks for your advice on a work email, your opinion on an outfit, or help with a minor mechanical issue. She is not incompetent, she is strategic. By asking for your help, she triggers your hero instinct, making you feel masculine and needed. But more importantly, she is creating a narrative in her head where you are her protector, provider. If she is constantly bringing you small dilemmas, she is thinking about you as a partner, not just a friend. The eyes are the only part of the body that does not lie because they are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. When we look at something that stimulates us sexually or emotionally, our pupils dilate, expand, to take in more light and information. If you are close to her, look at her pupils. If they are large and black, even in a well-lit room, her brain is in a state of high arousal and focus. Furthermore, analyze the gaze duration. Normal eye contact lasts about 3 seconds. If she holds your gaze for 4 to 5 seconds, it creates tension. If she looks down and then sweeps her eyes back up to yours, that is a classic sign of submission and attraction. Conversely, if she is shy, she might look away quickly but immediately check back to see if you are still looking. This check-back mechanism confirms that she is hyper-aware of your attention. A woman who thinks about you nonstop is naturally possessive, even if you are not dating. She needs to know if she has competition. However, she will rarely ask, "Are you seeing anyone?" directly. Instead, she will use the jealousy probe. She might say things like, "I bet you have girls blowing up your phone," or "You probably took a date to that restaurant." This is a trap, but a positive one. She is fishing for information. She wants you to validate that she is the only one. If she mentions other women or asks about your weekend company with a suspicious or teasing tone, she has been obsessing over the possibility of losing you to someone else. She is testing your availability and your loyalty before you are even a couple. It is a misconception that only positive emotions indicate obsession. The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. If a woman gets unusually upset, frustrated, or emotional over small things you do, like replying late or canceling plans, it is a high indicator sign. Why? Because she has high expectations. She has spent hours thinking about the interaction. And when it fails to meet the script in her head, the disappointment is disproportionate to the event. If she fights with you, it means she cares. She is fighting for the connection. A woman who isn't thinking about you wouldn't waste the caloric energy to argue. She would simply ghost you. High emotion equals high investment. The ultimate sign that you are living rent-free in her mind is future pacing. This occurs when she stops speaking in the singular, I, and starts speaking in the plural, we, regarding hypothetical scenarios. Listen carefully to her language. Does she say, "You should watch that movie?" Or does she say, "We should watch that movie together"? Does she talk about events months in the future, concerts, festivals, or holidays, and imply your presence? This indicates that her mental simulation of the future automatically includes you. She has already integrated you into her timeline. This is a massive psychological step. It means she does not view you as a temporary entertainment source, but as a long-term fixture in her life. When we are infatuated, our brain seeks to minimize differences and maximize similarities to reduce cognitive dissonance. You will notice she suddenly develops an interest in your hobbies. If you love Formula One, suddenly she knows who the drivers are. If you are into fitness, she starts sending you gym content. She is studying your interests to speak your language. Furthermore, she will show an unusually high tolerance for your quirks or flaws. Things that might annoy her in other men, she finds cute or eccentric in you. This is the halo effect. Because she is thinking about you positively, her mind filters out the negatives to maintain the fantasy of perfection. Finally, the deepest level of mental occupation is when you become her emotional anchor. She will share things with you that she doesn't tell her friends or family. She will confess her insecurities, her past traumas, or her secret ambitions. This is not just venting, this is bonding. By giving you this ammunition, her secrets, she is making herself vulnerable. She is trusting you not to hurt her. If she is sharing the darkest or most private parts of her mind, it is because she thinks about you as a safe harbor. She craves your understanding more than your validation. This level of intimacy is the hallmark of deep, persistent romantic thought. If you recognize these signs, the digital stalking, the mirroring, the future pacing, the jealousy probes, you must understand the power dynamic has shifted. She is waiting for you to lead. Do not become arrogant, but do not remain passive. The worst thing you can do when a woman is thinking about you nonstop is to remain ambiguous for too long, as her obsession can turn into frustration. Validate her efforts. Reciprocate the vulnerability. Gentlemen, psychology is not about manipulation. It is about observation. These signs are the language of the subconscious. If she is doing these things, you are not just a contact in her phone. You are a priority in her life. Use this knowledge wisely. Respect the emotion she is investing in you. If you found value in this deep dive into female psychology, ensure you are subscribed to the channel for more high-level analysis. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.